Hi everybody. If you haven't heard by now, today is WrestleMania Day! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! I know you see it. I am wearing my WrestleMania shirt, and this is the conclusion. This is the final day of WrestleMania week with Wrestling Man. And I am ending this with another retro review. Now, I will tell you right now that this is probably going to be the last one for maybe about a month or two. Going to give that some time off. Now, I posted the video of where to pick the next retro review right here on YouTube and also on Facebook. And for the first time, ever since I have done this segment, we had a tie. It came down to two videos. Now, in the event that there is a tie, I will get to make the final decision. So, after much consideration and much thinking, and really the last couple of reviews had been a special themed video, figured to go with a profile. Today, it is Roddy Piper's greatest hits. This video is hosted by Mean Gene Okerlund, and I gotta tell you, it is fun all the way from beginning to end. Even within the first 3 to 5 minutes of the videotape, Gene Okerlund is like, I can't believe the nerve of Roddy Piper. Andre the Giant's video was simply called Andre the Giant. Hulk Hogan's tape was called Hulkamania. So what does Roddy Piper call his? Get this. Roddy Piper's greatest hits. Can you believe the nerve of that guy? So you already know this is going to be a fun tape. So we go into we get into the beginning with a Piper's Pit with Piper and Andre the Giant. And Piper tries to get words out of Andre, really doesn't. And Andre picks up Piper as only Andre can. And at the end, Piper utters a famous quote, "You do not throw rocks at a man who's got a machine gun." Which leads into the first match on the tape. Roddy Piper and Dr. D. David Schultz against Andre the Giant and Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Now, I gotta say, even though this match was clipped a little bit, this was a fun match to watch. And this was one of the rare times that Andre bled. A very rare time that you see Andre the Giant bleed, and it's not a steel cage match. I mean, Andre, Piper hits him with a pair of brass knucks. He goes down, and, Andre's bleeding. So he has to leave the match. So Snuka's left all alone. So it's Schultz and Piper against Snuka. And Snuka, for a while, does a good job. Until he starts getting double teamed. And then here comes Andre the Giant. And this is great. Here comes Andre coming back to the ring. He's got his head bandaged up. Gorilla Monsoon said that Andre looked like the spirit of 76. Honestly, Andre looked like Frankenstein's monster. He just looked absolutely crazy with, the way his hair was all over this way, that way, and, bandaged up all over his face. It's absolutely hilarious. Beats up on Schultz and Piper, but Piper and Schultz get the win. So then the next segment is the next Piper's Pit, which features Frank Williams, which a lot of people would consider one of the top Piper's Pits of all time. And we know how that ends. Piper throws Williams off the set, and he goes, just when they think they've got the answers, I change the question. And then we get to a very interesting point in this videotape. We get into how the main event of WrestleMania 1 came to be. So it starts off with Piper going to the set of the A-Team with Mr. T there. And Piper, talks with Mr. T. Mr. T's upset. And Piper is like, oh, you want to be on the hit list like Cyndi Lauper? And then Mr. T's like, Cyndi Lauper, my friend. See, my friend. I didn't like what you did to my friend. And he throws his chair down and people come in and, try to break it up. And so that leads into Roddy Piper and Hulk Hogan, the match that's entitled The War to Settle the Score, which was on MTV. And this is a very fun match to watch. It really is a fun match to watch. Because, the Madison Square Garden, the crowd's on fire, the crowd's going crazy. And, Mr. T's right there in the front row. And, it's not going to be considered the greatest match of all time, but it's a fun match to watch. Match ends when Orndorff gets involved. Cyndi Lauper goes up on the apron. Her manager Dave Wolf's trying to pull her down. Captain Lou's trying to pull her down. She's not going off the apron. And here comes Piper and Orndorff. And then all of a sudden, here comes Mr. T. He jumps the rail, goes on the apron, challenges them to a fight. And he gets attacked by Piper. And then here comes Hogan. And then here's this big fiasco with, New York police, getting involved, and agents, and all these people getting involved. And it's absolutely fun to watch. And the heat, the build-up in Madison Square Garden was so good. It was just incredible how it was done. Hogan was declared the winner, state champion. Then we go to... Oh, yes. Oh, how could I forget this next part? This was my favorite part of the whole tape. Roddy Piper does a very special Piper's Pit for Coliseum video. His guest, Roddy Piper. Oh my goodness, this was such a fun thing. And really, if you think about it, this is sort of, before age kind of thing where you have, Piper dressed up here and then Piper in his, kilt and shirt and going back and forth. And it's just a fun segment to watch. It really is. Hold on, I think I got a screw loose on this chair. I apologize. But, it's so fun to watch. It's funny at times. It's vintage Roddy Piper. I hate to say that, but it is vintage Roddy Piper. Then we go to Mean Gene going to a gym in New York City where Orndorff and Piper are training for the big tag match at WrestleMania. And they don't like that Mean Gene's, invading their privacy and, he really shouldn't be there. And as he gets thrown out of the gym, there's this poor guy in the middle of the sidewalk and he just gets the crap beat out of him by both Orton and Orndorff. So then we go to perhaps the most famous Piper's Pit of them all. The one with Jimmy Snuka. The famous coconut incident. Everybody knows it by now. I don't think I need to review it. If you don't know it, go to YouTube, put in Piper's Pit, coconut incident, and then you can see what I mean. Then we get reaction from Piper on the TNT show, and he ends up slapping Lord Alfred Hayes. It's almost a bitch slap, to be honest. He just, he bitch slapped Alfred Hayes, and, he falls on the couch. And Vince McMahon's going right like, get out of here! What are you... it's typical Vince McMahon. So then we go to the next match. Piper against Jimmy Snuka. This is a no disqualification match. The guest referee is wrestling legend Lou Thesz. And this match, like the Piper-Hogan match, is not clipped. And it's basically a wild brawl all over. And the ending is just weird in a way, where Thesz gets knocked down, Piper takes the belt of Lou Thesz off, chokes Snuka, Thesz gets involved, and Snuka tries, to get involved, break it up, Piper leaves, Snuka wins by a countout. Then we get a short promo where Piper got a letter from one of Snuka's kids telling him, to stop. my dad is crying and he spits on it, and so on. Then the final Piper's Pit that is shown is the one with one of Snuka's relatives, the whole South Pacific thing. I think it was Samu who was on this Piper's Pit, and he's telling Piper, why don't you break my neck? Why don't you try and break my neck? And then Piper just leaves, which then goes into the next match, which is Roddy Piper against the Tonga Kid. And this is the other match that got clipped, which I really am not upset about because, well, you only have so much time on a tape. But it's a good back and forth match. The match ends when Orton gets involved and Snuka gets involved. Snuka was on the outside of the ring for the match, and it's called a no contest. And then we go to the final match of the tape. Roddy Piper, Cowboy Bob Orton against Superfly Jimmy Snuka and the Tonga Kid. A very, very good tag team match. This match was actually on WWE On Demand a couple of months ago. The entire show that this match was on. And I forgot how good of a match this was. And this one is shown from beginning to end, so it's not clipped. This match ends in a no contest, so you pretty much know the pattern. Like 3 no contests, 1 win, 1 loss, maybe 2 losses, and that's the end of the tape. Now, here's the difference between this tape and the Hulkamania tape that I reviewed a while ago. Both of these tapes have only 5 matches on it. Now, if you remember back when I did the review for the Hulkamania tape, how upset I was that A, there were only 5 matches, B, the time was short, and C, some of them were clipped. This tape is the opposite. While there are some matches that are clipped, you get to see most of the matches in its entirety, plus you get extra stuff. The tape goes over 90 minutes, and it has some of Piper's best matches at that time. So, with that being said, what do I think about Roddy Piper's greatest hits? Well, it is indeed his greatest hits at that time. Remember, this is 84, 85 we're talking about. And it just goes to show you how good Roddy Piper was in the day. He could not be touched. And I don't think anybody, if he was in WWE today, he probably would be the biggest heel right now. He's that good. Oh, you know what? No, wait a minute. You know what? I almost forgot one more thing on this tape. I can't believe I forgot this one as well. He and Bob Orton go to a doctor. Now, Orton has the cast. And Orton wears this cast for like 2 years. And this is on the TNT show. And the doctor takes a look at the x-rays, saying how the first, the original x-ray was unbelievable, then the second one is better, and Orton and Piper aren't buying it. So then they do a couple of reflex tests, and the doctor says that he is healed, and Piper, in the back, he's going, quack, 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 you're a quack, you're a duck, you're a quack, 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 quack. And it's absolutely funny. It's fantastic. A very good segment. All in all, this is a tape that if you're on eBay or on Amazon, wherever you try to find these old Coliseum videotapes, get this one. This is a very, very good videotape. Of the 4 profile videos that I have reviewed so far, this one, Andre the Giant, Hulkamania, and the Life and Times of Captain Lou Albano, right now, this is the best of the 4 that I have done. But there are a lot left to go as I do the retro reviews, which I hope you guys are enjoying. Well, that does it for me this week for Wrestling Man's Retro Review. And if you guys are ordering WrestleMania tonight, please have a fun time watching the show. I know I am, but at the same time, please, please be safe. Don't do anything stupid, because I'm not going to do anything stupid. So until the next retro review,